talking about medication and taking enough to give you the fighting chance you need against the illness, period. Don't try and take meds to get rid of all the symptoms. It's not going to happen. For bipolar, that's going to vary depending on the person and the type of medication they're taking. For me, antipsychotics work the best. Mood stabilizers, nah, useless. I might as well take aspirin. I know other people though with bipolar, a mood stabilizer works really well. I've never tried lithium. I know a lot of people take lithium. It's a medication I never wanted to take for my own reasons. But I think antidepressants should be a last resort. But I do know people, well, it's kind of hard to say type 1 or type 2. I go online and I look it up, and one website says type 1 is mostly manic, another website says type 1 is mostly depressed. And I'm talking, American Psychiatric medical websites, not, Billy Bob's website on mental illness. I'm talking like WebMD, that type of place. So we won't talk in terms of type 1, type 2, because there's a lot of confusion out there. So let's just say type 1, see, I almost did. If you're mostly manic with your bipolar, I don't know. Everybody I've talked to that is mostly on the manic side of things. An antidepressant really, it puts them into a state of psychosis, and I've had that experience myself. I had a psychiatrist put me on an antidepressant. Wow. Yeah, I had to get away from society for about 3 days until the meds got out of my system, and I only took 1 day's worth. So I wouldn't recommend that. And most people I know that are mostly manic, that's what happens if they take an antidepressant. So I'm not saying don't take it, and I'm not giving medical advice at all because I don't want to get sued by anybody. I'm just relating the experiences of myself and people I know, and you judge for yourself. But if I had to give advice, just one sufferer to another, if you feel like you need to take an antidepressant, if your psychiatrist feels like you need to take an antidepressant, but you're mostly manic, proceed with caution and do it in a manner where if it does put you into a manic state of psychosis, that you're prepared for it, because it's pretty likely. Flip side of the coin, people I've known that are mostly depressed with their bipolar, for the most part, most of the people I talk to, antidepressant combined with a mood stabilizer seems to work out quite well. And that's just the experiences of people I know. So again, this is not medical advice in any way, shape, or form. It's just the experiences of people I know and myself, which totals probably about 100 people. And that's what we've all kind of experienced. It's pretty universal. But of course, when you're talking about medication, it's all subjective. It depends on the person who's taking it and how it works for them. So again, I'm not saying do take or don't take. I'm simply stating some things experiences that are pretty consistent. So, caution when you're doing things. Anyways, medication for kids, boy, I think it should be a last resort. And again, I think the same rule applies. Don't try and use medication to quote unquote fix the kid. You're damaging the future of that child. Give just enough medication where things are manageable, and give the child an opportunity to learn coping skills. I'm a firm believer that coping skills are in fact the best medicine. Knowing how to work with your illness. And if you medicate a child to the point where the illness is masked by the medication, that child will never learn coping skills. And statistics show between 18 and 24, kids, they're headstrong, and they should be. They're moving out into the world. They're trying to get their feet under them, and they won't take meds. Or if they do, they won't take the types of meds or as many meds as they took before because they want to be functional. They don't want to live in a fog anymore, and there's a lot of very negative consequences that come out of that. So that's my personal opinion, and I am not a medical doctor, but that's my personal opinion, is that medication in children should be a last resort, and it should be kept to an absolute minimum so that child has an opportunity to learn coping skills. So there's my official stance on medication. Anyway, we had talked a little bit about the learning curve and things you can learn and medications, and basically everything I'll be talking about in the series of videos, that's what I'm talking about. It's just my experiences that seem to benefit others, and so I'm trying to get it out there to more people, and being honest about my life and the challenges I face, the successes and the failures. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. And so that's what this is going to be about, this series. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it benefits people. You know, I'll throw it up there on YouTube or something, and we'll see how it works out. But maybe it'll help people, maybe it won't. My true desire is that as beneficial as it's been to the people around me, and not just folks with mental illness, but the people who love and support them, my insight seems to really help them out with doing the work in their lives that they have a heart to do. So, I don't know. Life's funny that way. For some reason, I've been able to figure some things out, I guess. Just kind of a serendipitous chain of events that have taken place. So I'm going to pass that on through these series of videos, and I hope they're useful. Please feel free to send me your comments. And I would ask, I know there's a lot of, I look around on YouTube and whatnot in different places. A lot of times folks tend to be pretty harsh with their comments. So I just ask that people be respectful with their comments and their emails, and that they understand that everyone has their own challenges. All I'm doing is talking about one particular challenge that a big group of people face, and it's not to demean or downplay anybody else's challenges. So anyways, again, I'm welcome your comments, and we'll see how this goes.